Hello, Magic Family. Welcome back on Magic Raven channel. For those of you who returned, thank you so much for all the feedback that I received lately. And for those of you who are new here on this channel, you are welcome here for this reading. And today I prepared a special theme. We're going to find out what lessons were learned from the previous relationship. So we have, as usually, pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And we're going to use these oracle cards. Let's see what pile number 1 learned the previous relationship. And it could be any type of relationship you are thinking of. Doesn't have to be a love relationship. It could be any personal relationship. Pile number 1 with the blue heart, we have proud, the light aspect, and the shadow aspect, shame. For pile number 2, we have reliable, and the shadow aspect, variable. And for pile number 3, we have accepting, the shadow aspect, disbelief. So pick up the pile that you feel drawn to the mostly and count on your intuition. Follow your inner voice, your inner guidance, because it will lead you to the right pile. Take your time and think about which pile you choose, and then we will go to the shuffling, the one that I enjoyed so much. All right, so now that we have here in the left side, we have the oracle cards, and on my right side we have the tarot decks. We will use only one oracle card for each pile. So what lessons were learned in previous relationship? Pile number 2. For pile number 3. Really curious, just like you. Pile 3. And now we're gonna use the tarot decks. What lessons learned? We're gonna use cards from the tarot to have a complete picture. For pile 2. And for pile. 2, 3. One more. What lessons pile number 1 learn? Let's see for pile 2. So it's this one. Pile 3. Always take the lessons pile number 1 learn from their previous relationship. Second. Two. And for pile 3. All right. So now we have the cards for all piles. Listen to your intuition. Choose the pile that you feel drawn to the most. And I hope the messages that you will receive will really be useful for all of you. Hey, pile number 1. For those of you who choose this beautiful card with blue stripes, let's see the card. So for pile number 1, we have proud with the light aspect proud and the shadow aspect shamed. We have faith, like a bird. The 8 of Swords. Interesting because I see here the blue bird and the blue bird. So blue heart here, and you guys choose the blue heart. So that's really very interesting. She's wearing a blue dress, so it kind of tells me already that there was a hard lesson about sadness and really having that blue. We have the Knight of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, we have the Nine of Swords, move a little, so Ace, just like that. Then we do have the Eight of Earth, which is the Eight of Pentacles. Seven of the Seeking, and the Five of Sky. All right. So I already see here with the blue heart that um, probably in your past relationship, you've been really very sad about certain things. And we have here the Oracle card with the light aspect, proud, and the shadow aspect, ashamed. And I see here that the shadow aspect made you feel ashamed, especially when things did not work out and it wasn't really the desired outcome. You tried so hard, pile number one, to make things work until you had to question yourself, why you are ashamed when you don't meet your standards, or why you can't why can't you take it in your stride when you fail? Is it guilt or is it your pride? Because everyone else accepts you're not infallible, so why you didn't in the past? And you picked yourself up from the floor, you accepted somehow that you have a good chance, and you let go, you got rid of the notion of pride, you learned from the experience, and most importantly, you forgave yourself so you can move on. You've learned that there is no shame in being proud, and being proud, it's not shameless. Somewhere in the middle, there is this feeling of humility, and that is the bullseye you were striving for. And being proud, it's a noble quality that it's often confused with ego. And maybe it was difficult for you to find your sense of magnificence because others around you did not really had so much confidence in themselves. They were probably worried that you shine your own light, and by shining so bright, you could dim their own light. And everything you went into the relationship, the past relationship that you had, with the honorable desire to lead, that was actually interpreted through their own distortion. And then you've learned to have faith with the faith card here. And I can see here that for pile number one, the faith required you to believe in something that was not yet evident to the naked eye. And to generate this faith within you, you had to focus on your dreams, on desires, on your feelings, on your attitudes, and on the way how you were thinking, and not on the how, like action plans, strategies, or skills. The how leaded you all the time to the doubts and fears. So you became more wisey and focused on the why. And the magic happened is that focusing on the why and not on the how made the how present itself to you. And you learn that focusing on positive thinking led you to create people, circumstances, and events that took you closer to your dreams. And you learn to be a co-creator designed for achievement. And you knew that everything will work out no matter how things look like. And I also see here with this beautiful card, like a bird, that you learn to focus, to look forward, to see the motivation and the possibilities. We see here in the picture this woman, and she's like full of expectations. and she's kind of looking into the future. And like the bird next to her, that this bird flies strong, and she kind of, we see here this wing. It's like she took the abilities of the bird within. So that tells me that actually you learn to fly strong, just like the bird, and very directly. And you know now that it's the time to focus energy. And in past, in that relationship, probably you lost motivation and you question your decisions. And you learn to readjust your focus and unlock your creativity so you can really recapture passion. And you kind of surrounded yourself with people or activities who really made you feel inspired, because those people were like the breath of the wind under your wings, just like in this picture. And I see also here that in your past relationship, for some of you, with the Eight of Swords, you might have been in a mental darkness because it was your mind trapped here with the sword, with the air element, and you really had this feeling of, I had to get out of this place. No matter where I'm going, I have to get out of here. You felt trapped and you couldn't see a way out. And I see here with this black cat that actually you had a faithful companion who helped you out, and you had to stop the panic and think clearly. And then in the process, you found out you have all the answers you need. And this blue bird from here, because I see it 2 times, there is a small blue bird here on this sword. This represents, it symbolizes the hope that you had it. And the trapping was, for pile number 1, more about circumstances or actions of others. And you discover that your own fear kept you bound and unable to move forward in a productive way. And in the past, you kind of left your emotions overwhelm your ability to think clear. And you learn that when you stop panic, the solution show itself, even if you don't like the result. It wasn't easy. If it was, you will have done it from the beginning. And I see also here that you learn to celebrate more the friendships and spend time together as a group united, to have fun, now to connect with friends with a feeling of appreciation, with respect. I see here a lot of respect and honor, and the fact that you probably make part of a community now, this united feeling. And even if each friend is unique, they all share common goals and a sense of friendship. And I can see here with the Nine of Swords, for some of you, pile number 1, in past, probably you had moments when you woke up in the middle of the night, and some of you might have had nightmares, been afraid in the dark, and you felt a lot of worries, you couldn't rest. This symbolize, I see this woman, she's really waking up in the night here, and she's like, she cannot really sleep, it's almost down, and all of those eyes staying awake and watching her. And to me, that tells me that there was a lot of depression and anxiety for some of you. And there is also a feeling of despair and distress. And one of the lessons you've learned was that maybe that made you feel with the Eight of Earth. The Eight of Earth is like the Eight of Pentacles. This situation that occurred to you in your past relationship made you you learn that if this states of mind that you've been to slowed you down, you learn to adapt to the situation and really take it slow, step by step. And I see here with the Knight of Pentacles also that actually you discovered during the process of healing, probably, that being slow and steady can make you actually win the race. And you had all the tools you needed to really prosper and succeed in life. It's like we see here the Knight of Pentacles. He's like, he packed all his stuffs and he got all his tools with it, and he's holding this golden globe with the pentagram and his companion, and he's ready to go with the broom. And I can see here that he's actually looking towards those Three of Cups, and this is the friendships, the connections that you have with the others. So you are looking to get out of this situation, this mental prison that created and gave you panic and anxiety and a lot of stress, and then just look forward to have fun, to connect with your friends, with your community. And you were very, even if you felt like everything is slow at the beginning, um, you just, you didn't hurry it during the process. You planned your goal, um, you did your research, and you went into this more methodical way of dealing with this situation that was quite very overwhelming for you, especially mentally. And actually, that in the end was a good thing, especially if you had before in the relationship, you had a tendency to be carried away. You had to make changes to move forward in your life very cautiously and methodically, and you checked into all the options before making a final decision in which direction to go. So you really learn in the process that it's okay to take a breath and slow down. You move then now more confidently in your own ability to handle whatever comes, and doing small steps, but keeping the eye on the prize and having the knowledge that made you have success. And you know that that doesn't come over the night. And you learn also to gain knowledge and employ a new craft or skill. I can see here also with the Seven of Water and the Seeking, which is like it's coming out a lot of water energy here. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And with the swords also, I see the air signs as well. We have the earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, I feel, even Taurus, but a lot of water element. And here with this water, I see like you now use your imagination. You learn to tap into your artistic side and to be co-creative with your abilities unleashed. And you have now a heart full of overflowing love, especially with the when it comes about the friendships. You learn to be calm, to control yourself emotionally. You learned compassion and reassurance. You are now a peacemaker, especially in the community that you are into, and people search wisdom from you in times of conflict. Some of you might be counseling others even. And you also, with the Five of Sky here, I see that you also learn to be suspicious. Especially it's under this Nine of Swords, which this situation gave you a lot of anxiety and distress. So now you tap into this energy where you are actually suspicious. You protect your territory very strong, and you actually challenge everyone who enter in your territory, who cross your boundaries, or someone new in the friends group who come to know you much better. You you challenge them, and you're suspicious about their intentions this time. And you learn as well that you can't work with someone who has closed heart and mind, like in the relationship that you had it before. But you also learn that about yourself, that you need to really open your mind and you really need to open your heart here with the Sea King. So probably your past relationship um, teached you all of those, to tap into all of those qualities. By dealing with these experiences, these ones, and sometimes the partner can bring at surfaces some shadow aspects that we are dealing with, because here we have the shame shadow aspect, which tells me that many of you were ashamed by their own light, many of you were ashamed by their own power, and they couldn't tap really into this open at heart and open at. So sometimes in our life, when we are dealing with the shadow aspect, we meet with a partner who, for some of you, could recreate a pattern from childhood that we saw in our family, but they are there to teach us some lessons and to activate and trigger our awakening, our potential, our growth. So it's interesting how this envelope for pile number one, and I am proud of you because you've been in such a dark place, and with the help of the others and helping the others, you found your way now. So that was my reading for pile number one. I hope you gather the information that you really needed right now. And if you liked, you are invited to press like on this video or comment, because all the time I read the comments. And I hope I see you at the next reading. Bye! Hey, pile number two. For those of you who choose this beautiful heart with the yellow stripes, let's see the card. And let's see, what have you learned from your previous relationship? So we have reliable, the light aspect, and the shadow aspect, variable. And we do all in the soul. We also have white rose of hope. So for some of you, it was a lesson about hope despite the heartbreaking. We have the Six of Cups. Very beautiful card. We have the Magician. Oh, pile number two. Big lesson. We also have the Moon. We have the Four of Wands. We have the Hermit. See here those keys here. We also have the Hanged Man. Like this. And I see him like sitting upside down, but still with this sunlight within, very awake. It's right under the Magician. Interesting. Pile number two. We have the Four of Fire. And that's amazing. The Four of Fire, it's the Four of Wands from the Mystical Cats deck. And we have the Four of Wands here also from the Mystical Tarot. Wands. So I sense here fire energy. We have cups, which is more like, for some of it could be comes the energy of Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer also, and we have also the Wands, which is Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries. The Strength. And I sense here also with the Strength and the Moon, strong Leo energy. So for pile number 2, what have you learned from your past relationship? We have here the Oracle card, reliable, the light aspect reliable, and the shadow aspect variable. And I see here that in your past relationship, with this shadow aspect variable, you fiercely defended an opinion and you stand tall. You had the strength of character and you had to adapt to change. Even if you were in an inferior position, you survived. You can call yourself a survivor. And reliable, the light aspect, you have learned to trust others and to rely on the others, especially when you needed help the most. It took you a lot of courage to trust others, to complete a task, because you were used to do everything by yourself. And many times it happened to you to be in a situation where people got used uh, that you get along well and you can do it everything by yourself. You made them feeling that, and um, and that's because you learned in the past, in your childhood, to rely on yourself and to do everything by yourself. So at one point, those people didn't even ask you anymore if you need help. And you've changed that attitude and you started to ask for help when you need it. And now people really start to offer their help. So you learn that lesson, that sometimes it's okay to ask help and to feel vulnerable even. And with the hole in the soul here, I see that your past relationship bring at surface all wounds from childhood, and they created a hole in the soul. And you might have experienced a depression and an empty feeling. And if as a child you tried to make everything all right by picking up pieces from your family drama, you adopted a false self. And by losing the authentic self, you disconnected from your feelings, your needs, your desires, and you started to wear that mask to make the others feel comfortable. And that made you, in the process, that made you be detached and you felt lonely and isolated because actually you mourned your true self. And in your past relationship, those wounds surfaced with the moon energy here. And they surfaced to rediscover your true self through learning about your childhood and really mourning the abandonment and the neglect that you felt at that time. And for some of you, it could be possible that the mask and the music brings healing because you identify all the aspects of the false self, like the good girl or boy, the savior, the slave, the rebel, the victim, the overachiever, and the masked helps you to really feel and express what was suppressed. And then you had to energetically burn the mask and gave yourself the permission to be your true self. And especially in your past relationship where you didn't really felt accepted, you probably say to yourself, that even if you betray that person, you will recover your true self. And true healing comes when, even if that person says or not, that they understand you and encourage you to become the person you are meant to be. So it didn't really matter anymore at one point for you if they accept you. You realize that it was your lesson here, and that it was about uh, burning all those masks that you wear it for so long time, so many years, and really show your true self. And I see here with the white rose of hope, and this woman, I'm kind of getting it here that you really learn about hope. You learn to find solutions, you learn about new beginnings. And we see here this woman, she is really dressed in in a blue gown, and she's staying in this landscape of darkness. There is like darkness that surrounds her, but the shining white rose glow like a beacon and illuminate the night. So maybe you were lost or uncertain about your feelings, but thanks to the light of the flower you found your way. And white roses symbolize hope, new beginnings, admiration, and young love with exciting times ahead. And I see here that you've learned so much. You you learn how to give. Sometimes even the smallest gestures made with no expectation of return can touch the heart in profound ways. And it teaches you kindness and how to treasure the good memories in heart, especially in dark times. You learn more about the innocence and the value of giving and receiving the little moments of joy. And with the magician energy, you discover that actually the magic it's inside of you. That's so beautiful. Like, um, exactly like in this picture, there are like four silver tools: the atama, the wand, we see the chalice, the pentacle coin, and they glow in the light. And you learn that you have all the tools you need to accomplish your goals and the ability to do what is necessary, to be wise, to be kind, and to find success at the end of every endeavor. And you have this capacity now to balance all the tools of four suits: cups, wands, swords, and pentacles. You know how to use them to create positive change into the world. And it made you actually question if you can do something or if you will succeed. And the answer was, you bet. Like, you knew that you can, that you have all the tools. And this teached you about discovering your own personal power and your individual ability to rely on yourself, actually. But it's quite interesting because if before, because of the childhood wound, you were expecting help so much from the other people, but you are giving this shadow aspect created by the childhood, that you actually can do everything by yourself and you don't need help, and it was quite not in balance. You somehow transmuted this energy with the hope, and by focusing on nostalgic moments and on being really kind and make a good gesture. I see here this boy is kind of making this gesture towards this little girl. So like, you somehow transcended all those wounds and you helped someone, or you helped yourself, because it could be about your inner child as well here, to use this I can rely on myself in a more productive way without really recreating that pattern from the childhood, which is cool. It's really amazing. Pile number two, what you did here. And I can tell you that that relationship that you had was actually needed if you managed to do that. And I see also here that um, you really tap into your intuition. With the moon energy here, there is a mystery that surrounds this woman as well here, but I can see that um, the woman sits in this dark water, and that symbolizes subconscious mind. And the dark dress and the long tentacles that climbs out of the dark water symbolize deep fears and anxiety. And this wolf, this picture, actually like this picture, I'm gonna show it closer. The wolf, it's like a protector, and this represents the wild aspects of the mind. So you had to deal with your shadow self, with a lot of illusions, with deceptions and mystery, and you learn in the process to be joyful. To I'm getting the feeling from the Four of Wands here, and I think it repeats 2 times. The Four of Wands. You really learn to be joyful and decorate maybe your house. Um, and I'm talking about the house within own soul, but also your environment, the place where you live. And you learn to become stable and be in harmony, live in harmony, to be bright and to be happy, and to celebrate also freedom here, especially with joyful events. Because I'm seeing here like those 2 people, they decorated their house, they prepared everything, and they enjoy having guests over. And you deserve that. Like with the hermit energy, it's like you learn to be alone. And when you've been in this process of healing, because you are looking, when you've been heartbroken, you're looking with hope to this hermit stage where you went by yourself alone, and you took time to regroup yourself and to do introspection. And that was temporary, actually, pile number 2, because it was necessary for your growth. You learn to when and how to step back, to retreat, to regroup, to renew, to have a better perspective on everything in your life. And the Hanged Man, you learn to surrender and to use the sacrifice when it's necessary. You know that nothing in life is free or happens when we want to, and you kind of surrender it to the greater will for the highest good of all. And you also learn to let go of attachments and to wait. And you learn as well here to have your own rituals, your habits, to connect with your divine self, to detach sometimes from the mundane practicalities, and to meditate. And now you give more attention to your spiritual practices. So some pile number 2, you transform it so beautiful here, with so much introspection. Even when you were in the hermit mode, with this light, like I'm seeing here, the magician has this light here, and surrounding like an aura his head and hands, and also dive deep into this sacrifice and retreating yourself with the hermit energy and the Hanged Man, to really, and in an awakened mode, because you carry this light all the time here also with the rose and moonlight. And it's a beautiful way of doing shadow work, actually, and transmute so beautiful the childhood, without giving that attitude anymore of I am strong, I am independent, I can do everything by myself, and really uh, make the people not be there for you. So it's beautiful. Pile number 2. And yes, it's not anymore I am strong. It's about I have strength, which is very interesting. Pile number 2. With the strength card here, you have powerful instincts. And sometimes we are guided by those powerful instincts, but you remain true to your own moral convictions. And you have overcame here your baser instincts. You are very courageous right now, and you really have strength. very beautiful lessons you have learned about you and the others as well. And I hope you really gather the information that I offered you here. If you enjoy it, you can press like or leave a comment section. I hope it will be helpful for you. So thank you and see you at the next reading pile. Hey, pile number 3. You choose this card with the green stripes. Let's see the cards. So we have for pile number 3, see what you've learned from your previous relationship. We have accepting the light aspect and the shadow aspect, disbelief. And I like it. This is interesting because the colors from the card fits the heart that you choose. So that's quite beautiful when that happens. It happened to the pile number 1 as well. This we have self-love, powerful lesson from the previous relationship. We also have morning dew girl. We have 7 of Pentacles. And that's what I was saying earlier about the colors that match. So much green, which tells me that that relationship triggered for pile number 3 the healing. And they were there in your life so you can heal. That's powerful. We have the 2 of Wands. We also have Page of Cups. And I see a lot of water here, energy. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We have also fire energy here with this girl. Sagittarius, I'm kind of feeling it here. Aries, Leo. And we have earth signs also. Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. We have the 6 of Cups. We also have pile number 3, the Star. Again, she's holding a cup here and here again a cup, so I feel so much water energy here, water sign. 6 of Fire, which is the 6 of Wands, exactly after under the 2 of Wands. Interesting how you are looking at this fire. So some of you might have been in relationship water sign with fire sign, or we have the 3 of Fire. And the Star again from a different deck. And this is the first time when it happens to me in a reading to have at 2 piles consecutive 2 cards from 2 different decks, which is like a confirmation of the lesson that you've learned. So, and that's so beautiful here. Like I see how those two cats looking together towards the same direction. With a lot of hope here, with the star and faith in the divine timing. And I'm seeing here also a lot of nostalgic moments as well. And a Pisces here I see. So let's see. With the accepting light aspect and the disbelief, you've learned here that you cannot move forward unless you stop. And resting was essential to ensure you are able to continue your journey, and renewing your passion for the future. In the past, with the shadow aspect, you've dealt with losing attention to details, you've probably lost your patience, and you made sacrifices through perseverance, and you learned to start over even if you felt you left some pieces behind. And renewal for you is not really forgetting, but more a new way in which you moved forward. And restarting didn't mean that what happened in the past was wrong or should be forgotten, but you use that knowledge to plan forward your journey. So you've learned to relook, to reconsider your expectations, rather than believe you had a fault in it or the other one had a fault in it. And you gather from the experience the good stuffs. And those stuffs added new stuff, and you use that fuel to move forward. And your past relationship bring that surface the lesson of learning to take time out and get to know yourself and what works for you in a particular situation. The obstacle of self-love, it's self-criticism and the perfectionism, which leaded you to harsh judgment of the self, closing you down, and eventually for some of you, illness. And you had this mechanism of competing with others, waiting approval from family, and pushing yourself too hard. You really had to learn to soften and listen to your body, and to focus on keeping your heart open and acknowledge and recognize the good in you and in the others. And you had probably to ask yourself what changes you need to make daily so that so that love can be present in every breath, every action, and any relationship that you have with your parents, with your children, or with your friends, with your past exes, and so on. And you learn to open your heart, being more soft, to relax, and to find beauty in nature, in your home, in your pain, in your love, in your sadness, even in your prayer. And you learn to receive. You also learn a lot to receive from the others, and to thank, and to accept, and to say to yourself that you are lovable. And I see here that from your past relationship, you learn to face your fears, to become more aware and more about your consciousness. And we see here in this card that this woman, she collects somehow drops into a basket here that falls from this rose behind her. And that symbolized the receiving and the absorption of all worries and fears. And was like this past relationship was like an invitation for your soul to share your own feelings and worries. And maybe some of you didn't do that enough, or the other didn't do it. There is a difference between collecting them and deal with it, and hiding them deep inside. So you learn this time to stand resolute and strong, ready to face your fears. And the fear can really be very powerful, like a river. So I see a lot of water here. But once confronted, it turned out to be small as a drop of dew. And you learned also that at a certain point, it is good to stop and take stock and wait for things to come to fruition. Like, you planted all the seeds here, and it's not about making more effort, but to take a good look at what you've accomplished and see what harvest your hard work will bear. And you learn to not push things to happen faster. That doesn't help. It only brings hurt for both of you. And you learn to be patient and you to wait to see what happens, to take deep breath and really relax. And I also see here for pile number 3, from your past relationship, that many times maybe you were in a situation where you were asking yourself, what do I do now, what to do now with the Two of Wands. You had to learn that it's okay to contemplate 2 options, but you couldn't really decide in which direction pulls more strongly. You wanted to make sure you make the right choice that really brings you the success and the happiness that you desire. And you learn also to be wisey and mature now, because in past this relationship made you kind of swept you away and dream away, and maybe stand in this energy of, shall I choose to go like this or shall I do like this, and so on. All this energy of not really taking a decision. And we see also here, like, this really dragged my attention, the fish with the cup, because the cups, the water element, represents emotions and the feelings and intuition. So I see here with the Six of Cups also that you've learned a lot about friendship, and you've learned from this relationship what it means actually to love yourself. So I'm kind of getting it for some of you that this relationship that you had, this partner, was more like a catalyst for your awakening, was more like a spirit who was meant to be there for you to trigger some certain wounds that didn't heal, and to awaken you to really love yourself. For some of you, I'm kind of getting it a strong feeling of meeting actually their twin, which can be really painful. It could bring hell sometimes if you have one. And the Six of Cups tells me that for some of you, it could be that you actually learned now what it means to connect emotionally with somebody and with yourself. And maybe you feel nostalgic for your childhood memories, but you learn to be kind and very playful. And I see here with the Six of Fire, which is like the Six of Wands, that you learn to step into the light and be an influencer. Some of you uh, might be doing that without being aware or being aware, but your own transformation inspire others also, and you help others to find their way. And you remained somehow during all this process. You remained aware of your shadows, of the shadows of the other people who are not so aware, and probably they are in trouble or go through dark times. And you learn also how to renew your trust, that you help, and the way how you contribute for the highest good of all, in your own unique way, of course. And with the star here repeating 2 times, I also see that you learn to feel inspired and inspire others. There is this renewed energy and this sense of encouragement and the hope that comes with new beginnings. So you kind of step it into this energy of getting curious, um, learn how to make a leap into the unknown. And that actually, pile number 3, requires a lot of courage. Again, that was your way to go from the darkness to enlightenment. And during this process, you've learned to live the safety that you knew, and the next step required you to take risks. And you learn and you knew that you are part of something bigger than you. You learn that you are unique and precious, and you are a vital part of the dance from the cosmos. You also have faith that everything unfolds in life when it's meant to, especially when it comes about the patterns that you are aware of. Sometimes even if you are aware of the shadow and the light aspects and the lessons that comes within and the role that the other people plays in our life, even us, we cannot see how this pattern unfolds. But you have a lot of faith here, and you are looking all the time. I see here that you are looking towards this connection somehow with a lot of faith and hope without knowing the future. And this will become more clear in time because you are divinely guided here, for sure. That it's very interesting. Pile number 3. You have a very strong energy, and I get overwhelmed by this reading actually. So I hope you really, yeah, I got overwhelmed. Like I got emotional right now because I never saw in a reading so much hope, so much faith, and coming from this darkness, and so many lessons in such a short time. It was like, for some of you, it might be that it has been a tower moment actually, because there was so much love, and actually they teach you to love yourself. So usually twin flames do that. So that was my reading for pile number 3. I hope you did get information that you needed, and if you like it, this video, press like, leave your comment down below in the section. All the time I'm reading the comments and I answer them, and I really pay attention at everything that you guys leave it in the reading, the comments. So that was all. See you at the next reading. Bye, pile number 3.